Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. Just driving home from work. It is 5 a.m. October 30th, I believe, so tomorrow's Halloween. Driving White Rabbit, so no radio. I figured I'd do a podcast. Honestly, for the most part, I've been listening to, let's see, when I first got to work, let me tell you about my night at work first of all, because I like to do a little update. It was a crazy fucking night, dude. I had mentioned before about, we got this new guy that's like, he kept dozing off in his aisles and shit, like clearly coming in like fucked up. Now, he was pretty bad to where he was dozing off in his aisles, but he at least was getting his aisles done and like cleaning his shit up before, before we left, and you know what I mean? He was barely functioning, like actually still getting the job done, But, dude, tonight, so the boss wasn't here tonight. It was just me and another dude. And another dude came in on his day off. So it technically would have just been me and another dude, because the new guy, I think he's on heroin or something, man. Because he literally is like drooped over like at a 90-degree angle. Like I'm talking like minutes at a time. My buddy at work, my coworker, recorded him. So I think he said he's going to send it to the boss. We work an 8-hour shift. We all got our aisles done. And he had finished one aisle in 8 hours. And I mean, I do like, I'm pretty fast. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm like the quickest dude there. Because they actually, for a while, they were timing us and stuff. And I got probably like 6 or 7 aisles done, That's not too bad. That's like an hour an aisle. So this dude, he ends up like just like somebody, the Coke guy or whatever, one of the delivery guys, had ended up like pulling my buddy out of the break room from his break. Before we even went to break, we went up to him, we're like, hey John, it's time for break, And he's like, oh, okay. So he started following us, and then we lost him, and I was like, oh, I'm going to grab my sweater. So I went to go grab my sweater, and he's like leaning up against the cooler with the hot dogs in it. So yeah, that was fucking crazy. And I was like, fuck it, man. I'm not sitting here babysitting this dude. So I went outside, smoked my cigarette, came back, and my buddy Ryan was like, hey, the new guy, man, the Coke guy pulled me off from break, and the new guy, apparently he's been like just nodding off, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I was like, what do you want me to do about it? I'm not manager, man. And he's like, well, I went over to him and I'm like, hey man, you need to straighten up. And he said, I'll splash some water in my face. So instead of going to the bathroom and splashing water in his face, he picks up a jug of water that's sitting on the ground, because I stock the water aisles, and he's like trying to open it and splash like legit actual water that's supposed to go on the shelf onto himself. And my buddy's like, no, you need to go to the bathroom and do that. And he like kept trying to do it. And so we got him to the bathroom, and he was in the bathroom forever. And we got him out of the bathroom, and he literally just like turtle walked for like the last 2 hours of the shift, like leaning up against shit, knocking shit over. And we finished up our aisles, and we finished cleaning up our aisles, and we just left them, man. I know it sounds bad, but daytime management can come in and deal with it, because we don't have a manager night shift. We recorded what he was doing, You know, he wasn't being violent or anything. It wasn't like he was on meth or anything. But I told him, I said, I ain't cleaning his shit up. I ain't picking his stuff up. I said, and I'm not telling him that I'm leaving, you know. I'm just gonna, because the managers come in after we leave. Like, I was like, they can deal with them, you know. I bartended for 8 years. I said, I'm not a bartender anymore. I said, if I was still bartending, I would deal with someone like that, because that's literally in my job description, is to deal with people who are fucked up. I'm not a bartender anymore. I put in my 8 years. I'm a night shift stalker now. But yeah, that was my crazy fucking night. But I wanted to do this episode on when I got to work today. I usually catch up on my YouTube while I'm eating dinner. I usually eat dinner before I clock in. And one of my favorite channels that I watch is High Impact Flix, aka Grease Monkey Videos, because he has 2 channels. Sadly, being a truther and staying on YouTube, you know, we got to make multiple channels. That's how we survive, you know. But he had made a video. It's like a 30-minute video about Richie from Boston and RV, Russian Vids, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm a fan of all 3, you know. And he had took a clip out of the episode. It was Richie from Boston and Russian Vids doing an interview together. And yeah, they were just bashing on High Impact Flix. Like, for one, they were getting on to him, which I do have to say, High Impact Flix, he did leave a link to actually watch the whole interview. So, like, he just took a clip from where they were talking specifically about him. But from what he had to say, like, in the clip, Russian Vids and Richie from Boston were talking, and Russian Vids was like, hey, I want to talk to you about this guy, you know. He said the gloves are come off today. And pretty much it was a 3-hour podcast. I listened to the whole thing just because I'm a night shift stalker, and that's what I do. I just listen to podcasts all night. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just listen to the whole podcast. And literally, I guess they had talked before the recording had started. And Russian Vids was like, hey, I want you on the show tonight or whatever. And he said, the gloves are coming off. And out of a 3-hour podcast, about 2 hours of it was literally them just bashing all these other people in the truth community. But they, from when I was watching High Impact Flix, they were making fun of him for selling stuff, and saying that he was selling like solar powered hot dog rollers, which I guess they were trying to be funny, but he doesn't sell that. I mean, I thought it was kind of a lame joke, but yeah, High Impact Flix, he sells like actually, I actually own one. It's not the same brand, but he sells like an air conditioner thing. You plug it in. It's a little AC unit that sits on your desk, or I used to put mine on my nightstand next to my bed because it can be freezing cold downstairs and it's like 80 degrees upstairs. And you put water in it, and it's got a little fan in it, and it honestly, they work awesome. They put out cold air, man. They're pretty dope. Especially like if you live in a trailer or something and maybe you're like kind of poor. I think I spent like $50 on mine, I'm not gonna lie, but it was worth it, you know. He sells that. He sells like tactical flashlights, which are pretty cool. Like, You can literally run them over and shit, and they don't break. But I mean, that's like, to me, that's like useful stuff. Like, hey, I see nothing wrong. Okay, this is one thing that drives me nuts. Is I do not understand why people actually speak of the devil. I was in a comment section, and there was some asshole in the comment section like, oh, I hate how he puts a sponsor on every video. And it's like, well, for one, he gets paid for the sponsorship. I've never understood why that's a bad thing. I do not understand why it's a bad thing to make money off of a channel. And the thing is like, people who aren't content creators, like, I've been on YouTube for 6 years. I have a sponsor, and I've had this sponsor for like about a year now, and I've only made $8 off of it. Now, I know High Impact Flix, I'm not sure if he's monetized or not with the content that he puts out, but I know he's got sponsors. So, and as far as I know, like, I could be wrong, but this is like his main job, you know? Which, hey, that's cool. To me, that's a dream gig. You know, I wish I could podcast full time, especially with all this weird COVID nonsense shit going on. I would love for podcasting to be my job, you know, because I'm gonna lose my job, you know, because I'm not getting bit by the mosquito, you know, if you catch my drift. But to me, it just aggravates me when people bitch about sponsors, or, oh, you're making money off this. Like, well, dude, I mean, I don't know. I don't. They think automatically just because you're making money off of it that you're doing it for the money, and it's like, I don't see that, because if he really wanted to do it for the money, he wouldn't be covering quote unquote conspiracy theories. That's one thing that drives me fucking nuts when people are like, oh, they're doing it for the money. Why would they be covering conspiracy theories? If they're doing it for the money, they'd be making fucking cat videos or comedy videos or reaction videos or stupid shit like that, you know? And I mean, hey, if that's what you're into, that's cool. You know, not everybody's a conspiracy theorist. Like, I like channels like Cinnamon Toast Ken, you know? I get it. It's fun to blue pill every now and then. But that's the type of content that he would be doing to be making money. I don't believe he's doing it for the money. And the hypocrisy of RV and Richie from Boston, of making fun of him for selling items and product when Richie from Boston sells stuff on his channel all the fucking time. He sells like survival food or something. I don't even remember. It's like Patriot Food or something like that. So it's like the pot calling the kettle black, man. And then, like, I watched the whole 3-hour interview with RV and Richie from Boston, and RV made a $50 tip on his. It was a live stream. Someone tipped him $50. I'm like, well, you just made $50 right there, and you making fun of somebody who is trying to make a living off of, you know, putting out content. It drives me nuts that people, that's what people get onto, you know. Oh, you're making money off this. Well, yeah. Do you know how much money I put into this? Do you know how much time and energy? You know? But one of the sad thing is I actually watched a High Impact Flix, aka Grease Monkey Videos, live stream. This was like, I think it was like 2 or 3 months ago. Probably about 2 or 3 months ago. And when he made the video yesterday, it reminded me of a live stream he did. And he was just chatting with everybody. I don't even remember what the conversation was. It was just a live stream talking about, honestly, I think the whole beer bug shit that's going on, you know. And somebody in the live chat had said, oh, Richie from Boston's talking shit about you. And his reaction, I don't know, it like kind of hit home with me. He's like, oh man, I like Richie from Boston. Seriously? Is he really, you know, talking smack about me? He's like, that sucks, man, because I really like him. And he's like, I'll check it out, you know, send me a link, I'll check it out, the video or whatever. And he's like, that actually genuinely bothers me, because he's like, I've always liked him, you know. And he had kind of said, one of the comments that he said was, he said, I feel like that kid who wants to play with everyone and no one else wants to play. And I don't know, I just, like, when he said that and his reaction to the person in the live chat, like, I was like, oh, man. Like, it legit bothered me, because I've been watching Brian for, like, years, and I've always got, like, super good vibes from him. Like, I agree with everything he says. I don't think I've actually ever disagreed with him, like, ever. I mean, politically, I agree with him. He's kind of like an anarchist like me. The content he puts out is always excellent. I don't know, I just feel like he, you know, I don't try to agree with everything he says, but I don't try to disagree with it either. I just happen to agree with everything he says, you know? And I don't know, I just always got good vibes from him and shit, so it kind of bothered me. I'd kept up with him for years. And the thing is, that video, that live stream was put out like months ago, and he never even brought up Richie from Boston again. But he said something else that bothered me in the video that he put out yesterday. Apparently, during one of YouTube's mini purges, because they like to do these purges every now and then where they just go through and they'll wipe out channels like crazy. Richie from Boston had gotten his video or his channel demonetized, and High Impact Flix got his channel demonetized at the same time during one of the purges. And High Impact Flix actually, like, I guess knew somebody at YouTube or something, and he actually, like, got in contact on behalf for Richie from Boston and got him monetized again and got his channel fixed and shit. And I didn't know that. And I mean, it just shows you, like, that I don't know, to me that just kind of shows. And you can say I'm talking shit, whatever. I don't fucking care. I don't know if it's the truth. I don't know. I'm just saying, if I helped somebody in the past and then they turn around and, like, talk shit about me for, like, a decent amount of time, just talking shit about me in general after I've helped you out, you know, like, I don't know. That, to me, was just kind of shitty, you know. Like, bro, I got your channel hooked up and fixed and monetized again, and you're just gonna turn around and stab me in the back? Like, it's jacked up. But yeah, and NRV he pulled a Larry Gators, man. I did a video on Larry Gators, on my interaction with Bishop Larry Gators. I actually pissed him off, and I think it's a funny ass story. You can actually check that out on my, well, anywhere that I put out content, you can check it out, audio form or video form. But I talk about that and how Larry Gators, you know, not trying to rehash the whole episode, but essentially Larry Gators got on Sam Tripoli's tinfoil hat. Now, anyone whose channel, dude, I've watched it happen, dude. With a channel I was watching called Rogueways. And Sam Tripoli spoke about it too. And the people who literally have gotten big off of Sam Tripoli, anyone who gets on Sam Tripoli's tinfoil hat channel, the swarm swarms their channel. No pun intended. So, like, if you get on Tinfoil Hat, your channel's, like, guaranteed to fucking explode. Because, and that's how I found, you know, Rogue Ways. That's how I found a lot of other channels, was listening to Tinfoil Hat. Hell, that's how I found out about Bishop Larry Gators. You know, I didn't know the fucking dude. But RV, Russian Vids, had been on Tinfoil Hat. And, he was talking shit about Sam Tripoli. He's like, dude, when I was on there, you know, Sam Tripoli, like, he just kept giving me this, like, a deer in the headlights look. That's what it was. He kept giving me the deer in the headlights look. And I couldn't help but kind of laugh, and I'm like, that's probably just Sam Tripoli. He gives everyone that look, man. He's a little wild-eyed, dude. He's Sam fucking Tripoli, bro. He's a little crazy, you know what I'm saying? No, I love Sam, though. But, no, I mean, he was saying Sam was giving him the deer in the headlights look. And then he's like, yeah, and then I was listening to Tinfoil Hat, you know, afterwards, and they were talking about election fraud, and he's like, if you're that caught up into, you know, if you don't realize it's all fake and it's all a show, you know. And it's like, dude, it's a podcast, you know. Sometimes Sam Tripoli talks about politics, you know. And I don't know, I mean, for me, I thought the whole election, the last election, if you want to call it that, was kind of an eye-opening thing for a lot of people. Because I had always heard, and I had truly believed in my heart that elections were fraudulent and stolen and shit like that. But I'd never really kept up with politics enough and never had the evidence to be like, holy shit, yeah, this shit's rigged, you know? Or they're stealing this shit, you know? But after all my hours of research studying the last election, I was like, okay, yeah, now I know it's a fucking, like, all of this shit is fucking rigged, man. But I needed to see it, you know, because I knew in my heart that it was all a rigged, fixed game. But I never had the evidence to actually say 100% elections are bullshit. Voting is bullshit. And so I believe it was an eye-opener. So, I mean, why wouldn't you talk about that? That's a huge, gigantic red pill for a bunch of people. But, yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was crummy, man. And like I said, I'm fans of all three of these guys. I'm subbed to Russian Vids. Richie from Boston, I'm not subbed to. I do have a BitChute account. I watch his videos every now and then on there. I mean, if I see him, I'll watch a vid. But, like, most of the shit he talks about is, like, back in the day, like, he talks a lot about flat earth and shit. And, I mean, I don't know if the earth is flat or round, you know. I'm actually subscribed to a flat earth channel, Flat Earth British, you know. I don't mind listening to it, a little bit of it here and there. Conspiracy Castle, he's a flat earther. But I'm not, like, super into it. To me, the only importance of the earth being round or flat, is that NASA steals $5 trillion from us every year. That's pretty fucked up. So it is a big deal. But, as far as, like, if it's round or flat, it doesn't really affect me either way, you know? I'm agnostic when it comes to that. I just think there's more important issues, like, child trafficking and shit like that. I just worry about the kids, man. I'm in it for the kids. I'm not in it for arguing if the shape of the earth. I don't give a fuck about that. I give a fuck about all these kids getting fucked with, you know? That's all I care about. So that's why I never really subbed to Richie from Boston, but that, and he gets into the Christianity a lot, and I'm, you know, I sub to Christians too, but he's not on YouTube, and I don't really fuck with BitChute a whole lot, just because their platform, it sucks. But One of the points that somebody had made in the comment section of High Impact Flix, the video that he put out last night, was, you know, Richie bitches, because that was one of the things he was bitching about with High Impact Flix, is he's like, oh, my channel got yanked, but his never did. So that should show you right there, you know, that he's like a, I don't know, like, well, I forget, a shill or something, you know. I think that's the word they use all the time, shill. And it's like, no, he's not a shill, bro. He literally beeps out certain trigger words that trigger the algorithm, dude. You know, I do the same shit. And Richie, you don't. So that's why you don't have your channel on YouTube, because you don't self-censor. And people, I've had this argument with people in comment sections all the fucking time, you know. If you go to a BitChute comment section, they're all like, oh, this dude's an idiot. He self-censors, you know? And it's like, yeah, so he can stay on YouTube. And it's like, well, he should just come over here and stop being on YouTube. And it's like, what is the point of having these channels, these truther channels? It's to wake people up. Sheep do not use BitChute. Sheep do not use Rumble. Sheep do not use Odyssey. Sheep do not use YouTube. So, if the whole point is to wake people up, you're going to have to be on YouTube to successfully wake people up. BitChute is nothing but an echo chamber. I go on BitChute to get the actual fucking the truth. I go on BitChute to get the truth. It is completely uncensored. If I want to know the actual fucking truth of what's going on, I go on BitChute. But, like, the sheep aren't using it. So what does that make it? That makes it everyone who's on BitChute and using BitChute is already awake. So now you're in an echo chamber. So what is the point of creating content if you're not waking people up? The only other point you would be doing that for is like just to keep each other informed. But that's still, okay, now we're all well informed. Now we're all awake. We're all red-pilled. We're all black-pilled, whatever. What do we do with all that now? We just stay in an echo chamber? No. You go on other platforms like YouTube and try to get the truth out. Sorry, I burped. I'm drinking Coca-Cola. And try to get the truth out to people who don't fucking know. You know? And the only way to do that is to self-censor. So no, Richie from Boston. He's not a shill. You just don't censor yourself. I'm sure you're sitting there dropping... You got yanked because I was sure you were dropping the C word and the V word, and you can't talk about those without... I mean, you can talk about them, just don't use those words. Use something else. I call it the beer bug. I call it the mosquito. I call it the wizard potion. I mean, stop using the actual word, bro, and you'll have your fucking channel. You know, I mean, you seem like a bright guy, but you can't figure out that you got to use code words. Come on, dude. But I don't know. Yeah, and then they bashed, like, I don't know, it's just, it's insane, because, like, RV, he bashed Sam Tripoli, which I don't understand how you bash Sam Tripoli. He's like one of the coolest fucking dudes in the community. Like, he's like the conspiracy fucking king, dude. You know? He bashed Conspiracy Castle. You know? He said, oh, he's a baby truther. And yeah, and then he said he voted for Trump, and it's like, I don't know. I just don't understand. And he was on Conspiracy Castle. I don't understand why you would be on someone else's show, gain subscribers, you know, and you got people like me who have been in the game for 6 fucking years. I've never been on anyone else's show. I want to. I would love to be on other people's podcasts. I was supposed to be on one dude's podcast I was supposed to be on, and then he ended up going to rehab, and now he doesn't podcast anymore. And then I was supposed to go on another dude's podcast, and he ended up getting fired, so I never see him. He was a delivery guy. So it's like, I had 2 chances to be on other people's podcasts. I've been in the game for 6 fucking years. I would love to be on a podcast. Anyone's podcast. I'll sit there, anyone. Dude, and you got the chance to be on other people's podcasts. You know how lucky you are, bro? I've been in the game for 6 years, and you had the chance to be on anyone else's podcast, and you've been on Tinfoil Hat, you've been on Conspiracy Castle, and you turn around and, like, trash both of them. And here I am begging to be on anyone's fucking podcast. I don't know, it's just like, that drives me nuts, dude. It reminds me of, like, the rich kid that lives down the road, you know, and, like, you bring over your Yu-Gi-Oh cards to play Yu-Gi-Oh with them, and, like, you know, you're the poor kid, and you can't really afford cards, and he's got, like, all these cards that are brand new, and he's got Exodia, and Blue Eyes White Dragon, and all these super expensive cards, and he just, like, it'd be like him just tearing them up in front of you, and going, what are you doing? Oh, I don't care, it's a weak card, it's useless, you know? Dude, I'm over here poor, wanting some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You come from a rich family and you're tearing up Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, be thankful